We don't know what we're doing here, but we know it's gonna be a good time, dear. I don't know. Did you guys hear that song? It was a really good one. We don't know what we're doing here, but we're gonna have a good time, good time, good time here. Now, hi, welcome. I don't know, maybe that's Miranda. Let's see. I say, Miranda, where is my friend? We're gonna do a live broadcast. Oh, it's Miranda. Join in. I don't know. Join in, sister. Let's see how we do this. Invite friends to watch? No. We want, 1 second. Hi, Danny. I'm trying to figure this out. Your viewers, Miranda needs to be watching. As soon as Miranda gets back online with us, we're going to invite her in. But in the meantime, here she comes. Oh, Miranda, get back on, girl. In the meantime, Miranda. Dun, da, 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 Miranda, welcome. Where are you? Where are you? Wi-Fi, work for us. Wi-Fi is working for us. Wi-Fi is working for us. I'm putting all of my efforts. Wi-Fi, work for us. If this doesn't work, then... Ah! Cool. Hi, sister. Cool. Oh, my beautiful Leo sister. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me
good to see
okay? Yeah, you too.
You can
Great.
hear me?
Yes.
Great.
So, wow, thanks for playing. We have no clue, Miranda and I, if this is going to work or how this is going to be, but I was inspired last week to reignite the Live from the Beehive, and Miranda is one of my dearest sisters, devoted to the bees, and in a very significant way has supported me in opening up myself to the Divine Mother with the use of the sacred tool of the frame drum. Beyond that, Miranda teaches classes and holds circles of drumming and voice activations in Los Angeles and now all over the world. And she's on a journey coming up soon to go to Europe and share some of her beautiful wisdom globally, which ignites my heart on fire because we have been waiting for this and time for you to really expand and to share your knowledge and wisdom. So thanks for letting me love you.
It's a blessing to be loved by you, a Leo sister, Leo B sister.
I know, we're so lucky. So welcome, and I want to just begin. We're going to spend only about 15 minutes together, so it's a shortened version, and at the end we'll tell people where to find you. But can you talk a little bit about your journey with the frame drum and what inspired you and the connection that the drum carries to both the bees and the Divine Mother? Because I find it really interesting, and for the people who don't know, I'd love to share your wisdom with.
Sure, I would love to share the story. Well, I was really into drum circle drumming, which was beautiful in itself. And my friend Tony Moss had a coffee shop, Living Planet, and I went there often. And there was this book open called Planet Drum by Mickey Hart. He's the drummer from Grateful Dead. And in there was a picture of my teacher, Lane Redmond, holding her tambourine in an ecstatic, pose. And it said she was to do a slideshow presentation performance there in Long Beach. And I was like, wow. I didn't really see too many women drummers at all, and
Right.
and not one that was in a book. And so so I went to attend it, and she gave a slideshow depicting like many images of frame drummers that happened to be women. Mm. They were all ancient, and looking at these images that were carvings on temple walls and caves. She showed figurines, paintings on plates, boxes, and when I was looking at it, I I had a homecoming. I had what I felt like was a remembrance. Like if I would have lived back in those days, I would have been one of those drummers. And I was like, wow. I didn't know. I didn't even actually. I bought it when I was in drum circle drumming. I bought all kinds of drums, and I had a frame drum, but I actually didn't know what to do with it, so I lent it out to someone for a year and a half. But after I saw her presentation and slideshow, I asked for it back. And yeah, so that was my homecoming. Like that night changed my life, and I was like, I need to study. And then discovered she had a workshop that same weekend, and it was closed and shut off.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, no, I need to be in this. And so I usually don't ask, and I asked Tony, since he was hosting her, can you please get me in? And he said, everyone's trying to get in, but whoever can give her the money first can get in. I'll go. And this was like 11 o'clock at night now already. So I said I would bring the money tomorrow morning, 5:30 before work, and put it underneath her door. And so I was in. And I actually had to work a weekend, and I had to get a drum somewhere in between. But I just wanted to get there. I didn't. But just when you make the decision and there's a calling and you're supposed to be there, everything will work out.
Everything.
Because the way it wasn't going to look like as a workout because I had 2 jobs and I had to work actually all the time. So when am I going to buy a drum and where do I buy it? I have no idea.
Right.
And anyways.
But it all works out when it's in alignment for your soul. I really believe that. It's so beautiful. And you studied with Lane for many years after that, and subsequently became one of her teachers of the frame drum. And what are some of the things that you learned from her, and some of the things that you can share with us? Specifically, I'm interested in the feminine and the bees, obviously.
The thing keeps stopping. Okay. Yeah, well, she was in the midst of writing a book, When the Drummers Were Women. This was 1997 when it got published, but I met her before then. And I mean, the big thing that I learned was, because I had, for some reason, grown up thinking I was cursed to be a woman, meeting Lane and changed the whole thing, because now the women were referred to as being revered and as sacred vessels for holding, bringing in life. And so there's a whole new language for honoring and the reverence of women and the divine feminine. And she talked about who the women were that she discovered that were playing. So all the images, she found thousands of images. She said they were depictions of either a goddess or the priestesses that were were in service to the goddess, and they were all, earth honoring, women honoring, and these priestesses happened to be called Melissa or Deborah. And so Melissa means bee in Greek, and Deborah means bee in Hebrew. So now there's the connection between the bees and the drummers. So they were referred to as bee priestesses. Now, if you know anything about the bees, they are bee-centered. They are a female-centered species. They have the queen bee, who lays 1,200 to 1,500 a day, and then she has all her maidens. And the idea is that they all work together as a whole for the good of the hive. So they're considered like one organism. And one is working and has as a job to keep the hive and thriving. So there's the connection to the bees. And at some point, she was working with a master beekeeper, and now there's beekeepers who are interested in the frame drum, and there are frame drummers now, like beekeepers, or wanting to study and the relationship to the bees and what they represent.
Yeah, beautiful.
So,
I love that you are sharing about this remembering also, because I don't want to skip over this, because I feel it's an important piece. is that when you shared that you had felt that you were cursed to be as a vessel, as a woman. And this for me is, I remember clearly the day in my bathroom with you, and we were playing the frame drum for the first time together, how it was a remembering for me as well. And this is I love this tool so much. I'm so grateful to you for sharing it with me and for so many others. I would like to, if you're open, would you bring out the drum and show it to the best of your ability? Because we have such a small little window here.
I thought we were just going to talk about it, but here's one. The other thing I hope that's okay. The other thing I want to share before I show the drum is that the first sound we ever hear is the sound of our mother's blood pulsing through her arteries while we were fetuses in the womb. Yeah. So for 9 months, we resonated to the heartbeat, the pulse of the mother. And the drum is the echo and remembrance of that pulse, of our time of oneness, our literal oneness. And so just wanted to share, that part. And so the drum
thank you.
for me becomes the voice of the divine feminine, of the mother. And so frame drums, any drum where the head is just larger than the depths of its shell. And so they're found on, almost every continent. But in the Mediterranean area, the predominant players were the women. Yeah. And did you want me to play something, or?
That would be nice. But first, would you mind, because I like the way that you share about the elements. And I know that those of us who have been fortunate enough to sit in your space are aware of this, but many people who haven't yet seen a frame drum or just seen it being played don't really understand the depth of this tool. And you were the one who really opened the doorway for that for me. So if you wouldn't mind sharing the elements, and then maybe we finish with a spontaneous prayer of your choosing.
Okay, great.
Great.
So the drum, Lane actually passes down to all of her students that the drum strokes are connected to the elements. Now she had it passed down to her from Hamid El-Din, who's a Nubian musician, singer, and frame drum artist as well. And Mickey Hart, shares about him in his book, Drumming at the Edge of Magic. So that is where she got her knowledge of the drum connection to the elements. And so the lowest part of the drum is called doom, and that's connected to water. And water, how often do we use it? We use water every day, all day long, and we are made of water, our blood. So doom, lowest sound of the drum, is water. And then on the edge of the head, tech, and that's related to fire. Fire is also the sun, and fire, fire every day. Wow. And fire is also the energy in our body.
Right.
When you do two, that's tekka. Then when you stop the vibration and stick to the drum, that's called ka, and that's related to the element earth. And so earth. Where's our one home that we all live on? Earth. Where do we get all our food? Earth. And our bones, our whole body is made of the earth. And then we have the brushing sound. And this is related to the element air, our breath of life. Right? And how often do we use air? Every second. And so the drum becomes like a tool of remembrance of what is sacred and what we're made out of. And so when I play, I'm not just playing a drum, I'm playing all that it represents. And again, as a circle, it represents oneness, wholeness, unity, community, the rhythms of life, the cycles of life, the sun, the moon. So, Lane says when she studied looking at all the images, she said, why are the women holding, the drum? And she said when you're holding something, it means they're holding something of that has to speak to the consciousness or spirituality. And she was saying that the first sound that is what created all of this, all of creation. Because everything down to its tiniest is vibration, where our bodies are made of vibrations. The cells and the atoms, they're all vibrating. So the drum, that first sound out of the void into creation.
So it's interesting because what I have learned about the bees is that the bees come from another place to bring vibration to this planet. So everything that we connect to through vibration of the drum, this is why it's super connected to the bees and the Melissa and the Deborahs, were all the bee priestesses to honor that sacred vibration of sound so that we could essentially wake back up into the presence of love, which is so beautiful. Miranda, before we finish, I want to just let people know if they're interested in working with you, they can, we only do these little 15-minute videos on Fridays just to keep people's attention. But if they want to find you, they can go onto your Facebook page. You offer Skype lessons.
Skype lessons, private lessons. I do workshops and frame drum circles here in Los Angeles. I have actually an introduction, Heart of Frame Drumming, tomorrow, Saturday in LA.
Great.
And
Great.
then, and then a 4-week follow-up on the frame drum on Thursdays. And I just added an online, it'll be my first one, an online for Mother's Day on, yes. So we're learning the mod and honoring the elements and song. So that one anyone can join. You just have to know how to play you need to know already how to play the basic strokes, and then you can join. And then if you're in Europe, I'll be in Europe July 21st and 22nd in Germany, and then in Valencia, Spain from the 24th to the 29th, and then in Holland August 5th or 4th or 5th weekend. Yeah.
Oh, so you're spending your birthday in Europe this year.
I am.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Miranda also does a really beautiful offering every year for her birthday that is a spontaneous song a day, 40 days of, are you doing that this year?
I have to see, because I'll be traveling in there.
Okay, fair enough.
I might have to do it before my birthday. Yeah.
Miranda is one of the most incredible women. So her name is Miranda Rondeaux. We'll put a link to her page down below so that you can connect with her. And if you are in Europe and you want to schedule her for a group lesson or group drumming session, it's for men and women alike. And it's such a beautiful practice. Thank you, sister. One of my favorite moments with Miranda is always through receiving the medicine of her connection with this divine tool and her voice. I don't know if you want to do voice, but maybe you can play for us for 1 or 2 minutes just as we close out as an offering to whatever you choose. Does that work for you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the drum and the voice, they're kind of married, so
okay, great.
They go together.
Yay! I love this union. Is there something specific that you want to put this prayer out towards, and we can just hold that together as a collective?
Oh, yeah. Offer to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Pachamama.
Great. Thank you, sister.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. The planet loves for us to sing to her, to pray to her, to remember her, and to give thanks to her and honor her. So it's no easy thing to be able to offer a song. And we all can do it. You don't even need to have the drum. You can even
Oh,
just sing
whoa.
into the drum. And, the trees are waiting. They're all.
Yes, and I have, I'm just so grateful. My heart just blast open with your medicine and your presence. And I'm so grateful
I'm
to
so
know
grateful.
you. I'm so grateful to know you. And I hope that someday, perhaps when I jump back into LA, we can create a ceremony together again because I love to create ceremony with you and enrich the lives of the people that we love with the collective medicine of the mother. So thank you so much, sister. I am squeezing you strong and loving you and sending you lots of sweet nectar.
Same here. I love you so much, and I thank you for what you're doing and for being a voice for the mother.
Mm.
It's so inspiring and nourishing and healing for me as well. You bless me over and over and over.
Leo love, Leo love. Okay, you guys, thank you for joining us. Miranda, thank you, sister. I'll call you in a little bit. And I'm just so grateful to know that there are women who are waking up through this beautiful frame drum and song and voice. And Miranda is one of the most incredible women I know and is a divine servant of the mother. So thank you, sister, for being alive. Mwah! Ciao!